Hello, it's Marcy again from wavesofcommunication.com, and I'm back with another Wave of the Week video. This week, I'm talking about 6 ways to beat boredom with language facilitation. My name is Marcy Melzer, and I am an intuitive speech and language pathologist consultant, and it is my mission to help as many parents as possible teach your late-talking children how to use the words they need to share their wisdom with the world. And I do that in my Waves of Communication parent coaching programs. You can learn more all about them on my website, wavesofcommunication.com. All right, let's dig into this week's Wave of the Week, which is 6 ways to beat boredom with language facilitation. It's summertime now, and there are kids who are off of school or out of their regular school routines, even if they're doing summer kinds of programs. And it's a real common thing a couple weeks into school being out that boredom starts to set in. The first strategy I have for you to beat boredom this summer with language facilitation is to loosely structure your day. Even though you're not getting up and getting dressed and getting out the door to go to school or daycare or whatever you usually do during the regular season that's not summertime, your child usually gets used to going by that schedule. And whenever a schedule goes away, children are left to their own devices to sort of figure out what to do. And little children, school-age kids, even all kids, aren't as creative as adults are to fill their time. So one of the ways to beat boredom is to keep a loose schedule in your day. The most important thing that you should schedule is 1 meal a day to have loosely around the same time so that your day can kind of center around, at least at one point, we're going to all gather together and be together as a family this one time of the day. The other time of day that you should schedule out is bedtime. In the summer, you should always keep the same bedtime as much as possible. It can be later, but it should be consistent. And just having a consistent bedtime is going to give your child enough sleep to process the long days of the summer, because they might get up early and start to have burnout. They're just spending more time awake because there's more light time hours out, which can lead up to fatigue. And you should also schedule some time right before bedtime to sort of wind down your day, because in the summer there's a lot more energy coming at you. The sun is, like I said, lit up all day, and more energy is coming into just your planet and your area and our bodies. So you want to make sure that your child is getting enough rest this summer. When you structure your time, like strategy number 1, you're going to be using lots of language facilitation throughout this bedtime routine. And when you keep things in a set routine, like, the same bedtime and the same meal time, you will find yourself with those 2 set activities using the same language over and over again, because you're doing it every day. And this is a way for you to have a little bit of structured time out that you can focus on talking in a more simple way, that you're going to be using vocabulary that your child does while you're keeping them on a schedule with keeping their boredom at bay, because they're not over fatigued. This strategy number 2 is for you to always have a bucket of go-to art, some sort of creative materials. Blocks work for the same, but those tend to stay with your child, all the time. You want to have their blocks available for them to play. These are special things that you kept put away in a closet that you can pull out at a time when boredom strikes and you really don't have anything else that you can do, or none of the toys feel good, or, things like that. So it's a really important thing for you to always have something handy. All right, now moving into the next strategy, I want you to set up some snack rules in your household. And this will help beat boredom in a way, because what happens is children often go to wanting to eat when they're bored. All of us do. In fact, I am guilty of this myself. If I don't have something to do, I find myself wanting to find something to eat. And I think that this is very common for kids. Now, that happens in the summertime because a lot of times kids are more active, but also they are home and the sun is shining and they're getting all of this energy and they're growing more because they're getting more energy from the sun in summertime. And so you'll see them growing and eating more, but you don't want snack time to be the cure for your child's boredom. So you want to really make some rules around snack time based on your child's needs, nutritional needs and hunger needs, and, keeping them happy. Because like I said, kids are bored because they're not entertained. And eating, they're always going to go for things that are entertaining to eat because they're bored and they're eating out of need for entertainment, okay? So if your child is hungry and they're wanting to eat a lot, you're going to have to make your healthy food entertaining. So even things like having your child preparing their own snack, help your child make those things, help your child cook those things. And you're also watching them to understand, why are they eating right now? Are they eating because they're hungry, or are they eating because they need to be entertained, because they're bored? And you can know that by their choices for what they want to eat. Because if a child is hungry, then they're going to eat heartier things, protein things, carb things like that. But if a kid is just eating out of boredom, they're going to want to eat snacky foods, little things. Think popcorn at the movies, that sort of stuff. So if your child is wanting little things that they're going to eat over and over and over again, like chips or little things, this activity of the eating is actually what your child is using to beat their boredom. So when you're giving snacks to your child, make sure you're always engaging with them while they're eating the snack. Make the snack the activity so that you're talking about it, and don't let your child just eat while they're doing other things. So that's the strategy about snacks. All right, the next strategy that I have to beat boredom with language facilitation is to keep your tech on a timer. And that means that make sure you and your child have understood exactly how much time they're going to spend on the technology before you give it to them. So you want to limit your time, but talk about this with your child. You can have the tablet for X amount of time and then tell your child what they're going to do next, so that it's easier to help your child transition away from the technology into your new activity. So you can beat boredom with language facilitation by limiting your tech time and always transitioning from tech time into an activity that you do together. It doesn't have to be even, something cool and structured. It can be, after this, we're going to take a bath. Or after this video, we're going to eat dinner. Or after you play this game for 10 more minutes and set a timer, a visual timer or an auditory timer that dings, for this amount of time, one more show, that kind of thing, you're going to do your technology, and then we're going to do X. And let your child know that before they start the thing, because what happens is they get lured into the technology and they're just like, oh, I remember I was bored before I started this technology. I just want to continue this. They want to see something to look forward to, and that's always going to beat boredom. Anticipation beats boredom every time. Okay. The next activity that I want to help, the next strategy for helping you to beat boredom is to assist your child with the transitions of the activities that they already do. And this stretches out the activities that they're doing anyway. So what usually happens, what can happen with kids, is if there are a lot of things to do, maybe you have a lot of toys in your house and they go toy to toy to toy to toy, and I don't have anything to do, and they have a whole room full of toys, things like that. That happens when kids are working with one activity for only a short period of time, when they have a short attention span, and you're always having to provide them with something new to do. So the way you beat boredom like this, the way you beat this problem, is by stretching out the activities that your child is doing. And you do this with language facilitation by facilitating the transitions into the activity, by allowing your child to help decide what the activity is and then prep for it. So if you're gonna, let's say you're gonna play in the paddling pool out on the porch because it's hot, have your child help fill it with water. Have your child help choose the toys to put in the pool. Have your child, even if you're going to cool off in the bathtub, you could do the same thing. If you're going to be painting, finger painting or trying something cool like that, have your child help put the papers on the table. Have your child help clear their toys out to do a space if you want to build a fort. Make sure that you involve your child in the prep for the activity, and that also will help build the anticipation for that activity and give you opportunity to teach the language for the prep work. Lay the papers, that kind of stuff. And then the next thing, while you're doing the activity, of course, you're going to be facilitating language, and you also want to help your child transition out of that activity and into the next activity, kind of like we talked about for the tablet time, the technology time. But in this case, involve your child in the cleanup. Even a very young child or a child who's not using much verbal stuff can do something like put something in the trash or, clean up one toy and talk about the fact that it's all done, that it's finished, that this activity is done, and now we're gonna do something else. And when you help your child transition out of activities that you structure for them, you're helping them learn how to transition from activity to activity themselves. So like I said, maybe you have lots of toys in your room and you say, go play, and your child doesn't know what to do. And you set them up with a toy, they play for 5 minutes and they're bored again, they're coming back. Helping them to transition from activity to activity with you together helps them learn that skill later to use to help them stretch out their own activities over time, to help them be more independent with beating boredom and not having you do it all the time. And of course, all the language you need for this is all done, moving to the next toy, what are we going to do next? Those phrases, all done, what's next, help me get started, time to clean up. These are phrases that your child needs to hear from you repeatedly with language facilitation. So you need to do these kinds of activities every day. Help your child with the transitions in and out of. Don't keep the responsibility on yourself completely to just set everything up, invite your child to come and do. And they might be used to this at school because this is what happens with teachers. They set up the activity, the kids come in, they do the activity, they leave, the teacher has to clean up the activity. And you want to encourage your child to be part of the whole entire process. Okay, moving into the last strategy, the sixth strategy to beat boredom with language facilitation is by giving your child some set responsibilities, new, special, summer responsibilities to do. So for example, your new responsibility for a very young child could be they get to pick their own shirt out instead of you choosing their clothes for them. And that's a new responsibility that you're giving your child that you're going to help them do. Now, these responsibilities, you have to understand, are not give your child a job and let them go. In order to give your child any responsibility, it's just like on-the-job training for any new job job you get that you take, that you go to work. You're going to have to do a little training, demonstrate how to do the activity repeatedly, and have your child demonstrate how they do it in front of you and critique them and help them do it accurately. So whenever your child does do this responsibility, then you commend them. What a great job you did choosing your shirt. Make sure that whenever you praise your child for a job well done, that you talk specifically about the job. A lot of parents use a good job, well done, excellent, rock on, high five. And kids love to hear those things, but when a child does a job well, make sure you let them know exactly what the job is that they did well, so that they put in their brain, they know exactly what to do again next time. Because good job just gets the feels, but good job picking out your shirt, that shirt looks great on you, encourages your child to do a great job picking out their shirt tomorrow, so that tomorrow they can get that same praise and they know exactly how. So give your child responsibilities this summer, even very simple responsibilities that they are going to do every single day. Something that's super easy, just one step up, that's not too hard, but that gives them a sense of satisfaction that they did something to help you, to help themselves, and to be a responsible, kiddo, that they have their own sense of identity about themselves, that they have responsibility. And whenever you give your child responsibility, it's wonderful for establishing their mindset for the other language facilitation that you do. Because when you give your child responsibility to do little jobs around your house and help you out, it also puts them in the mindset of trying harder to use their words to communicate with you so that you understand their messages. And it's always very important for kids to get their parents to understand their messages. And when you let your child know, I love it when you try to use your words to talk to me and tell me about this thing. What a great job you did saying that. Then your child knows that they've done a wonderful job talking and that you understand what's going on. And so they're going to try to talk harder with you. They're going to try harder to talk with you. And you need your kids to put a little effort, because most late talkers really don't like talking. They like using the other things that they use to communicate. So giving your child some little responsibilities around your house not only beats boredom, but completely helps you with language facilitation in all your other language facilitation activities. So I hope you enjoyed these 6 ways to beat boredom with language facilitation. I hope you dig in and implement some of these strategies this summer, because it is my mission to help as many parents as possible this summer teach your child to use the natural verbal speech that they need and that they want to use with you, to talk about all the wonderful adventures that you're going to have this summer. So thanks for joining me today on this video. If you enjoyed it, if it was beneficial for you, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, because I put out 3 new videos every week that are designed specifically to educate parents, to give you strategies and help you get started with language facilitation, because parents are the best language facilitators and they can see progress with their kids faster than speech therapy every single time. I've proven it with families all over the country, and I know you can do it too. So thanks for watching again. I know I say it all the time, but I really do appreciate all of you watching all my videos. And please feel free to leave me a comment and let me know what you think of these strategies, and if you're helping your child learn to use new language too. And I'll see you all on my next video.